Today we're going to be going over how to create a beautiful floral arrangement using all greenery and filler stems, and we're going to be doing that in 5 stems or less. So this is more of a budget-friendly, easy, 10 minutes or less floral arrangement that can be done in a narrow neck vase. I used 2 full stems of the gunny eucalyptus, 2 of the globe amaranth, and then I took a 3rd gunny eucalyptus, which I had clipped into pieces, and used that as filler stem to fill in any of the open spaces that I still had left after bending and maneuvering the globe amaranth and the other gunnies. This is what it created, and it's just a beautiful, very relaxed but eye-catching arrangement. And this is with a narrow neck vase, by the way. So the Callista is narrow neck, and we're going to go ahead and measure that neck for you so that way you know how much of an opening you have. And it is, and I'm going to measure from actual usable space. So inside of the lip to the inside of the lip usable. You're going to have about 3.5 inches in width to fit your stems in. It sounds like it might be a lot. It fills up very quickly with this Callista. So just letting you know, on this one, it doesn't take too many stems. And the Callista is 11.5 inches high as well. So it's a great size vase for mantles, entryway tables. On your vanity is beautiful in a bathroom vanity, putting this right in the middle if you have the space. She's gorgeous. She doesn't take up too much space, and you can still get a very full, very pretty arrangement. And so this is it. We're going to deconstruct it and then put it back together and show you how I did it, as well as giving you the measurements. If you like this particular height, you can always bring this down a little bit more, or you could raise it up a little higher. I'm finding that with this last gunny stem that I used here, this one needed a little bit of a bend because it just stood too high vertically and didn't look quite right. So I used my thumb and forefinger and gave it a little bend right here and tried to give it a little bit of a natural bend, as florals should have that little bit of that relaxed, falling to the side feel to them. Same with this one. If you wanted to give it just a little bit of a bend, this would be a good one to do. And then these were already, this one was bent out. This one over here, I didn't need to bend at all. It did this naturally, which was great. So it did, the gravity did the work for me on this one. So this is the beautiful arrangement. Now let's take it apart and put it back together so you can see how I did it. So we have the beautiful Callista, and you can use any vase with this type of opening or size. By the way, if we come in a little bit more on this one, when you come down into the Callista, I'm going to show you that the opening is even a little less wide. So you have 3.5 here, but you probably have about 2 inches max on the inside. That way you can see what this looks like and know, kind of guess about how many. 5 or less is perfect, and it was tight fit with those. And these stems aren't too wide. If you want to do wider stems, you might get away with 4. I'm not quite sure you'd get 5. You might have to do filler pieces to do those 5 and make it work. So now that we're ready, we're gonna put her back together again. And remember, the way we've been talking and teaching you is always do your anchor pieces first. And your anchor pieces in this are going to be your gunny eucalyptus. And so you're gonna take your 2 pieces of gunny eucalyptus. And what I did is I gave it a bend. You could do any sort of tie here if you want. You are going to want to, my suggestion is use some sort of tie, because if you just give it the bend, it's very difficult to get these back out of the vase if you don't have them tied, because the loose stems will get stuck down in there, and then you're trying to really maneuver and anchor them out. And I tell you this from personal experience. So I'm going to give you a measurement on the 2 gunny stems and the heights that I put them. So I bent it, let's see here. I bent 5.5 inches on this one here. And I bent the same. I bent both at 5.5 inches, which is easy. So 5.5 inches, and I just used the elastic hair tie in the small size. And I find for me, they work great. I can reuse them again, pop them off, and then straighten out my stem when I'm done. When you bend your stems, try to not bend at the notches that you'll see in your stem. When you bend at a notch, which is right here, you're going to find that when you bend at the notch, that's where it gives way the most. And then you could bend it so much so that it kind of breaks at that point and opens up. So the best way to avoid that happening, if you want to reuse them for something else, is to bend in a non-notched section. Some stems have these notches, some do not. So we're going to slide this one in. So remember, this is an anchor stem. And what I'm doing is I'm sliding it in and looking at it saying, okay, how do I want this to look? And then we're going to look at this one and say, we're going to put it in this way and slide it in just like this. Perfect. Now we're going to put in our focal flowers. And for this, the focal flower is actually going to be this globe amaranth. And it's going to be the focal here. Usually you would see something like this more as a filler or a movement stem, but this one is actually going to be our focal piece. So we're going to slide this around. And then these I bent, and I think these are bent at slightly different heights. So let's take a look for you. This one is bent at 8.5 inches. And the second globe amaranth, and this is the green and white globe amaranth that I'm using, that one's bent at 6 inches. So we are going to take our taller stem first, the one that was bent at just 6, and I'm going to slide it in and adjust it the way I want it to go here because that's where some of my height is. So I put it in, and what I've done too is I just start bending the amaranth stems once I get them in. These were already pre-bent because I had done this in advance for you. But once you get them in, then you'll do your bends and you'll find where you want them to go. You'll kind of see the spaces that you need to fill, and then you'll bend accordingly. Then we're going to slide this one in. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a moment. There we go. So now we have it in, and I did a little bit of bending here to kind of bring these down because we also want to fill some of this open space here between the top of the vase and the globe amaranth or the stems. Something just so you don't see a distinct line is what we're going for. Now I'm going to put in, see how fast this is, by the way? 3 pieces of filler stem, and this one is going to be done. So when I look at this, for me personally, and you may love it just like this, and that's great. If you want a little more and you want to kind of zhuzh it up, you're going to put a filler stem in your open spaces to fill those holes and shadows, to create shadow and to fill holes. So I'm going to turn it to the side, and then I'm going to slide this one in. It's going to come in back here because I see a space that I really want to fill right here. Perfect. Then I see here, I have another space I want to fill, and I'll show you what that's going to look like. I'm going to put this one right here in the back a little and bring it up. And then this final one is going to come down and to the side because I need a little something over here on my left side of the vase. You may find that you like it, like I mentioned, as is, and that's great. But I kind of want to fill some of those spaces and make it look a little full and have a little extra over here. Then once you get those filler pieces in and you feel pretty good about where they're located in the arrangement, then you're going to start doing your final bending and kind of just looking to see how everything looks. And do you like it? Does it feel like you filled in where you want to fill in? And I think, yes, this looks really good and I'm happy with it. And then so what I'll do is I'm just going to slide this one down a little bit more because he's not quite going where I want him to go. There we go. I'll bring a couple of leaves down. And now we have filled it. So there you go, globe amaranth Gunny eucalyptus, 5 stems or less. So it was really 4.5 stems, but you will need a few pieces of that third stem if you want to fill in any of the open spaces. Beautiful spring, summer, easy, very neutral. We'll go with just about everything. There you have it. 5 stems or less, 10 minutes or less, and you have a beautiful arrangement.